This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
Please, big applause for Artur.
Hi guys. Let's take the seats because we have places here. I know that you are already filled the lunch break, but come on, join me. Yeah? So today I would like to dive into robot framework. But before we will do that, I will share a few things about me. I'm working as an architect, test automation lead. Always I'm working as a Python developer or Python scripts. I'm making Python scripts, and I'm using the robot framework. Yeah, I'm also created podcast with my colleague Tomasz Klepacki. As a fun, in free time, I'm motorcycle. I'm using the Triumph. Please do not mix it with the another Triumph, which probably woman knows. This is funny that when I'm saying I'm going to the Triumph and my wife, we're saying the same, but it's different, yeah? And I very like the Internet of Things with smart house. Before we dive to robot framework, we need to talk about a little bit historical overview of robot framework. So at the beginning was Pekka, Clark Pekka. He made or built basic idea of robot framework in his master thesis. And during the same year, Nokia started developing these tools for their internal needs. Yeah? So Nokia would like to, at the beginning, they would like to create the robot framework to cover their needs during the testing of fibers and networks. After 3 years, they decided to make it open and deliver it to entire community. And like you see, after almost 20 years, we still have a developing, ongoing on this robot framework. In the meantime, Pekka created the robot framework foundation. So currently he has big team with developers to create and deliver new features into the robot framework. Probably, like you already mentioned, robot framework 20 years already on the market. There's a small chance that we have some kind of guys on the crowd who has very similar age. Yeah. So at the beginning, sounds like I will read the books for the kids. Yeah. Far away from 7 seas and 7 mountains. At the beginning, of course, we have operating systems with the Python. Yeah. Because the entire robot framework is developing with Python. On top of the Python, of course, we have Python libraries. Then we have a robot framework libraries, which is, of course, Python code in a little bit special schema. And on top of this, we have a robot framework scripts and resources. And the last one is your repository. Yeah? All of the things which is behind it is a Python pure code. Yeah? Core ideas about robot framework at the beginning, it was readability and simplicity. So Pekka at the beginning with his team, they tried to create something new because you need to think about it. It was already designed 20 years ago. They would like to create some kind of new way of programming language, which is on the screen. It's like Excel coding, we can say it. But after 20 years, no one would like to use it mostly. We are sticking to VS Code, PyCharm, Eclipse with dedicated plugins. So currently, I suppose most of the guys who are using the robot framework not using this Excel type, but it's still under development and is still supporting new features. And it's called robot framework Ride. Pekka also, when he designed this robot framework idea, he created something which we call QA-driven testing or QA-driven development. It's based on the idea that you can create on this robot framework resources any type of keywords which we can link. If we need to compare it with the Python, is like a definition, yeah, and the resources is like a class. But when you are jumping to the robot framework as a beginner or junior, you don't need to do nothing about the programming languages and skills. Yeah. So the idea was to create simple keywords where you can cover your needs during the automation. But of course, You can use BDD because it's very easy to just naming the keywords with the proper name and start using BDD inside of your team. Next critical part, in my opinion, is extensibility. Extensibility, it means that Robot Framework can use any type of libraries, even Java. So you can link any type of library which you have in your organization or from the open market and use it on Robot Framework level. Yeah. So you can use directly Robot Framework libraries. You can use Python libraries. You can use Java libraries, custom Java libraries, up to you. And like you see on the right side, community is already created almost 8,000 of different Robot Framework libraries, which is a huge repository of all of different interfaces. Yeah, because probably you are working on UI, so you know very well Cypress or Playwright. Yeah. But Robot Framework is something like Playwright test, yeah? So it's some kind of the runner, currently. At the beginning, it was a little bit different assumptions, but currently, it's mostly can we compare it to some kind of runner, like Cypress test. So what does it mean? Like we will probably will hear today how to migrate the Cypress to Playwright. If we're thinking about the Playwright as a Playwright library, which is engine to click something on your pages, then in Robot Framework, my migration from Selenium to Playwright library, so to the engine who created the browser or clicking on the browser, takes 5 minutes. Why? Because entire level of libraries, which is Selenium or Playwright in Python, they have additional layer, which is called Robot Framework Selenium library or Robot Framework browsers. And they have the same methods, the same API, they work in the same way. But behind them, there is different engine, yeah? So if I would like to switch my UI testing currently, it's 5 minutes with coffee. I'm changing just the imports and I executing test under the Playwright. Yeah. Cross-domain. Cross-domain is a point in Robot Framework that we would like to support multiply different products. Yeah, multiply different ideas to how we would like to test it, because testing is not only about the UI or REST API. Yeah. Probably like I said, mostly of you are working on such projects, yeah. But we have also a lot of different hardware, yeah. Where on the hardware level, you never knows nothing about UIs. There is nothing. There is not UIs now. They don't exist on the hardware, yeah. You have automotive where we have a CAN connection, yeah. We have a netconf, openconfig, SNMP, etc. All of these interfaces is very well certified interfaces like REST API, and they are used on the hardware on more different products. Yeah, and of course, like I said, cross-domain allow to us to use, because community are already prepared thousands of different libraries to support all of these interfaces which I mentioned. So we can, if someone comes to you to your product and said, we would like to add new interfaces, not the UI, not the REST point, but something different. Let's assume SSH or some kind of another interfaces. You can very easily browse all of the stack of Robot Framework and find some kind of libraries which will fit to your needs. Yeah. Reporting, of course, Robot Framework, like I said at the beginning, is some kind of currently like a runner. After the execution of the scripts, you get 3 types of files, but mostly we are interested about 2. One is XML, and second one is HTML, which you see here. So mostly the logs from the Robot Framework execution looks like that, which you can dive into logs, unzip all of these methods. If something will be read, of course, there will be failed information about it. Yeah. But if we're thinking about the integration, all of the tools currently which we have on the market, they are supported fully because we have XML. All of these tools like Report Portal, Dashboards, Grafana, Jenkins, 3City, all of the things, they are consuming somehow XMLs. At the end, if they don't have a dedicated plugin to consume the Robot Framework XML, you can very easily build your own libraries which somehow parse the XML and put the data to the interfaces which you are interested in. Yeah. where I see the power of robot framework. First of all, when we're talking, because we can thinking, okay, Artur, you show to us how to implement different interfaces or how to create the test cases or how to start developing something, yeah? But at the end, the framework is something bigger than just the scripting, yeah? You need to execute your test cases, yeah? Inside of the robot framework, we can execute entire suites or dedicated test cases from the suites, entire folder, entire repository, and we can do it by adding the dedicated paths or using the tags. On all of the test cases or suites, you can put your own tags, which allow to you just cherry pick dedicated test cases during the execution, yeah? And just during the putting the commands to the command line, you just add additional flag like input this tag or execute dedicated tags, yeah? Performance testing. Do we have a performance testing in other tools like Playwright or something like that? I don't know. I'm not the expert, but as I know, probably know. In Robot Framework, we have it. It's called Robot Framework Swarm. It's also created by the community, which allows you use all of your libraries which you already created during the automation to cover your daily needs. Yeah, and logs and execution looks like that. Of course, if we start comparing this Robot Framework Swarm with some kind of Q6 or JMeter, etc., probably it will be not the best tool about how consuming the CPU or something like that. Of course, but you have everything in one place. Yeah? When business comes to you and you are a SIT tester or something like that, and they would like to add something like performance testing, mostly the teams will say we don't have a capability, yeah, because now we need to learn Java or something like that, and additional tools, we don't have licenses, blah, blah, blah. We don't have free hands to do that, yeah? In Robot Framework, there's low-hanging fruit that you can just start using existing automation or existing libraries which you made for your needs and start prepare. Of course, you need to prepare some kind of VMs machine or nodes, but you can start executing performance testing, yeah? Parallel execution, yeah? Can we do parallel execution in Playwright? Currently, yes, but at the beginning, as I know, probably it was not delivered. In Robot Framework, of course, it was the beginning? Okay. We have a Robot Framework PyBot, which allow to us just modify the execution command, yeah? And we can manipulate how many test cases on how many nodes or how many different cores we would like to run. And of course, you can manipulate on test case level or suites level, folder level, etc., etc. Yeah? So you have a full capability to make the parallel execution your test. Statistic code analysis in Playwright. What we are using in Playwright to code analysis? Static. Nothing? Okay. Okay. In Robot Framework, we have something which we call Robocop. It's allowed to you to make entire static analysis of the code. It's fully customized by you. It can be, of course, by the default when you install it and you try certify your code by this tool. This tool has some kind of default setup, but you can change it as you want inside of your product. The naming, number of spaces, space, etc., etc. Everything can be customized here. Yeah. Upgrades. How you deal with the upgrades in Playwright? If something is deprecated, how you resolve it? If someone knows the answer, then let's give me. Because I don't know, I'm asking. Manually, probably. Okay, probably is also the good answer, yeah? In Robot Framework, we have something what we call Robot Tidy. It's the best amazing tool which allows you make the upgrades for any type of version. You can make the upgrades for the code from version 2.0 to the last one. You just execute the command, it's static analytic code, and make all of the reviews. Of course, you need to review by the human because there can be some kind of mistakes, but any type of function which will be decrypted or removed, tidy will just replace inside of the code. Yeah. Also, something which is very nice in robot framework world is that if something is going to be deprecated at the beginning, you just get the information inside of the logs. After few releases, you will get the information the same in the logs, but you will know which version. They will say, okay, from the version 8, we will just remove it. Yeah. So they keep also the deprecated function for few releases before they remove it. Yeah. And also, they care about the Python, because it's very important when you have the runner, some kind of runner, and behind the runner you have your scripts, you have your libraries, packages, etc. And at the end you have some kind of TypeScript, Java version, Python version, or something like that. Yeah, Robot Framework always supports multiply of version of Python, so you can stick on some kind of Ubuntu, where some kind of version is not of Python is not supported in the previous version, but you can still going on with the upgrades with the Robot Framework because they supporting multiplied version of Python. Yeah, of course, always is some kind of the edge. Yeah, and they cut it like Python 2.7, but it's also give us to us as the testers making the upgrades be on the top of functionality from the robot frameworks, but we don't need to care so much about Python version, Ubuntu, or mostly the Ubuntu problem, because on the Windows you can just bump the Python and you don't care. Yeah. Okay. If we think about if we love it or hate it, because it's a good question for me, I can say it. I love it because of 3 different reasons. Because it's give me, as an architect or some kind of QA lead, give me the low barrier to share the tooling with the new guy. Yeah, when I hire new guys into the team, it can be junior or something like that. Entire ecosystem is built in that way that he can, after a few minutes, start preparing some kind of the scripts. Yeah, there is no, of course. And all of the projects can be, developed in the wrong way. But if you have a good quality of code in Robot Framework on the Robot Framework side, you can just very easily introduce new guys to the team. Yeah. Also, which is very important for me, is the bulletproof framework. Yeah, because I worked in hardware where we have 10 different interfaces. Yeah. The UI was only one of them. Yeah. And all of the interfaces has the same capability as the UI. So everything what you can click on the UI was implemented on any other interfaces like REST, SOAP, etc., which allow to me create automation around this type of products because all of these libraries already cover into Robot Framework. Yeah. Of course, probably it's not the best tool when we're talking about fully UI specific products, and we would like to test only UI and maybe REST API. Yeah. But if you know that the product can grow, or you are working like me currently in Nordea, where we are testing the engines, which they eat the payments. Yeah. And there is no any fancy UI for the clients. Yeah. Because all of the UIs is for the internal usage. And we have a multiply different interfaces like SOAP, REST, databases, MQ, Rabbit, Kafka, blah, 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 thousands of them. Yeah. And I would like to have a one ecosystem and one way of working where I can create the tools. Yeah. And give us also this abstract layer where we can create where we can create the keywords. And the guy who jumped to the organization, they don't need to know nothing about the Python. Yeah. But also I need to say that I hate it for the same reason. Because why? Because is there some kind of the runner is evolution from the some kind of framework to the runner currently. Yeah. And there is no any way of working with this tool. I saw many different products, different QA team, which I refactor it as an architect and create new automation from the scratch. If someone create the page object model inside of resources, instead of creating Python library based on the page object model, is a crime. Yeah. we need to be honest. It's not handleable at the end on resources level to handle entire structure of the page object model in some kind of abstract layer, which is resources. Yeah, and the same can be in other interfaces like REST. If someone just using the REST queries directly from the robot framework, it's wrong approaches. You should build your own robot framework libraries on top of your needs based on your Swagger or something your needs. Then you should use these libraries into your scripts. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Yeah. What kind of API? But what kind? I assume you're talking about the REST points. Yeah, we have a. First of all, you can use directly request library from the Python directly inside of the robot framework. Then you have a robot framework request, which is on top of the request is built another style of robot framework libraries. But at the end, you should build your own code. At the end, inside of the Python, based on the robot framework libraries, to cover your queries, then reuse them on the robot framework level. Yeah. But how it should be done, we can talk in the coffee corner because it's complex how it should be created. Because it's very important to understand that the robot framework currently is mostly like a runner, yeah. And all of the things like complicated drivers, like I would like to send the queries to my REST API, is a driver level. It's not the test cases. It's not the test, yeah. It's not some kind of methods. It's a driver to support your interfaces, which can be changed tomorrow, yeah. So this layer of the framework, how you build it, is very important to create it. Yeah, but of course we have a request or robot framework libraries to cover the REST API queries. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. There's entire robot framework library for the Oracle databases and other. Yeah. Okay. Another question. Yeah. Yes, we have a libraries. Almost 8,000 libraries. All of the things is already done. Sorry, you can catch me, but it's not possible. Yeah, there is some kind of even nested CAN libraries for the automotive. So you can imagine how this community goes so deep with all of these tools across the automation. Yeah.
We have next question.
Just curious, since everything is getting AI now, where is the robot framework getting AI?
Good question. Very pretty well. It depends, of course, about how you build your framework. Yeah. But at the end, if we think about this top of this architecture point of view, that we have resources and scripts, and you have some kind of resources inside created in robot framework code, then you have this instruction file for the copilot with full documented. Hear it in few seconds, everything. I can create it entire scripts just by the prompt, yeah? I'm creating scripts currently inside of my projects just by the prompts, yeah? Because all of the robot framework level is already created. So it's like Lego bricks. And you just need to explain the steps and the AI just use the correct Lego bricks from the repository, yeah?
Any more thoughts?
Hi, I was quite interesting because you compare different kind of the things and how you see future from robot framework compared to the Playwright or VTest, where you put it, and if you talking about not small project but enterprise level, how is your approach to this kind of case?
Mm-hmm. First of all, and then I suppose the holy grail of this answer will be that this is a free also. So no, so with something which we can compare is a Playwright. Yeah, currently Cypress is you need to pay, so game over. If we think about the Cypress and Playwright and all of this stuff, I suppose I understand there is no holy grail of the automation. Yeah, all of the tools, all of the frameworks have some kind of plus and minus. Yeah, it's obvious. But from my point of view, which I said at the beginning, is a bulletproof framework that all of the different needs already was covered, yeah, in different projects. It doesn't matter, it's a REST, SOAP, CAN, SSH, Telnet. databases, thousands of different types of databases, SQL, no SQL, blah, blah, blah. All of these libraries are already there. You can just reuse them. And you just, if you have your new needs inside of your automation, you just browse, try to find the correct libraries. You just type in pip install robot framework, name of libraries, then you import these libraries into your resources. That's it. You have interfaces which you can use to log into databases, make SOAP queries, etc. Yeah?
Who would like to go next?
Continue. Follow-up question.
I would like to follow this question a little bit more deeply. But what about the security level? Yes, because like if it is open source, so how we will compare if it's big project, security project, so for different, let's say, bank, etc. How would you approach to it? And probably you hit it many times. So what is your perspective and how do it compare?
Of course, behind the robot framework is something which I suppose is also why the playwright is so popular. We have a huge community on the Discord where you can just raise any type of question that something doesn't work, etc. And you will get the answer like on Stack Overflow in 5 minutes. Yeah, this is first. Second, of course, you can raise the bugs on the product on the robot framework level, and they will be resolved in the next release if they accept it or decided that it's valid to fix it. Yeah. And if you have any ideas to improve it, yeah, you can just share this idea to this community, also to this GitHub project, and they take it, and during the development of next feature, they will think about it, and they give you any type of responses. I get a few weeks ago, I get responses to my tickets from 8 years ago, even. Yeah, okay, it was like small talk, some kind of idea, but I get the response even such things. Yeah. So this community is still maybe growing. It's growing, but it's very active on the Discord level, etc. Yeah. Of course, at the end, if you find any type of bugs in Robot Framework, it's GitHub project. All of these libraries is started on the GitHub. You have a two weapon of choice: make fix by yourself and raise the pull request, or download the libraries, make your forks, change, fix it on your local machine and install from local repository. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have special award for you.
Thank you.